Goodwill. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Mister?
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Oh, yeah.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Dwight Clark.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor. John Taylor, who said, do you believe it?
January moments. And the first one you heard was called by the legendary Vin Scully and the legendary Hank Stram. And that's our play of the day, brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. We got a special going on with MKF. Every $5, every $20 you spend on the game, you will get $5 back in tickets. Go to monkeyknifefight.com, use the code Snowman, you get a 100% match on up to $100 on your first deposit. Speaking of the national championship game, Joe Simpson now joins me on the broadcast. What's up, Joe? Finally got you.
How you doing, Snowman?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. But today might end up being a national holiday after the Bulldogs finally get that national championship.
And they're pursuing their first national title since 1980. The legendary Larry Munson, the late Larry Munson, had all kinds of stuff to say about that national championship. Let's talk about this one to take place at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Very apropos. All right, Joe. How do the Bulldogs break this jinx?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that need to go right, but the main thing that needs to go right, that did not go right at all in the first matchup a few weeks ago, we've got to get pressure on Bryce Young. We had an elite defense all year long. I believe we basically led almost every single category in the country on defense, sacks, rushing yards, defense, everything. We didn't even get pressure. It's not even that we didn't sack Bryce Young. We never even got pressure on him. He's just too good. He is amazing. He's one of the best young quarterbacks I've seen. The stage is not too big for him. You just look at his eyes. He's not nervous. The kid, he was in Alabama last year. He's a redshirt freshman, but he plays like a third or fourth year quarterback. He's amazing. And basically, I can tell you this. I'll know basically at the end of the first quarter whether Georgia has a shot to win or not. Because if we're not at least getting pressure, we don't have to necessarily sack him, but you need to at least get in his face. If we're not able to get pressure on Bryce Young, Alabama's offensive line played amazing. They hadn't played that great for the whole season, but they played great against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Auburn, who is not a good football team, they were in Bryce Young's face the whole game, and arguably they probably should have won that game. But again, Bryce Young did something amazing at the end and created enough opportunities for him to get the dub. And that's the key. That is, like if you had to ask me, what are your three keys to the game? Pressure Bryce Young would be 1 and 2. The third one is we need Stetson. He is what he is. He's not ever going to be an NFL quarterback, but he's very solid. If you look at his stats for the year, he's been very impressive. It's just that he made a couple of – he actually played pretty – I went back and watched the SEC championship game again, and he actually played better than I thought he did. very upset. And then and I was mad at him. And then I actually went back and watched the SEC championship game a couple more times. And he actually played pretty good except for the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw that one pick, and it went for 6.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You can't. Basically, we need to play ball. We can't turn the ball over, and we just need to beat Georgia. I mean, we didn't turn the ball over the whole season. We played great defense. Stetson didn't have to do a lot. He doesn't have to be a hero. As long as our defense shows up and plays well, and we don't turn the ball over, that's Kirby Smart fundamental football, and we got to get you out to win.
Those are your keys to the game for tonight. The national championship hangs in the balance. The Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide one more time for the national championship. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. My Bulldog insider, Joe Simpson. Finally, I got him on the program to talk some Georgia Bulldogs. And, man, it's a thrill and an honor and a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
I'm glad to be here, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
I want to see him do it, Cole. I want to see the Dogs in that jinx against Alabama. But you brought up a very, very valid point. And you talked about this on Thursday during the College Football Express. You got to slow Alabama down. And I mean this from a physical and a literal standpoint. If you allow Alabama to speed up the game, it's trouble.
Mm-hmm. And especially with a team like Georgia who want to assert themselves in the game. Like I've made it a joke. It's a running joke with me.
Yeah.
When it comes to Georgia this year, I said, they are the type of team where they try to play like how an old man would like to fight.
Yeah.
An old man to me, an old man who's tough and rugged. It's like, you know what? I'm going to give you this amount of time to show me all of what you got and give me everything that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia this past year has been to most teams, almost every team, of course, save for Alabama. We'll give you the first quarter. We want you to give us your best shot.
Right.
Just give us your best shot.
Right.
Because by the time the second quarter begins, we're going to assert our authority on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they are. They want to wear on you. They want to pound you. They want to dominate on you. They want to take your will.
Yeah.
And when they win against a team in Alabama who it's like, you're not really going to take our will, but we're going to run you ragged.
Yeah.
That was a difference maker for them. And if they can adjust to that,
speed is the key.
If they can adjust to that speed and still assert their will, I still believe that Georgia does have a chance of going out of Lucas Oil Stadium with that crystal ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to slow Alabama down because once Alabama starts playing fast, good luck catching up to them. And kudos to both teams for reaching the national championship game. Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you that think Cincinnati didn't belong, shut your face. For those of you that thought Michigan didn't belong, good call. Why am I sounding biased? Because I'm sick and tired of people discrediting Cincinnati and crediting Michigan. Okay? Michigan got punched in the throat. Michigan got punched in the throat. All right? And Dietz brought it up Thursday. And we'll close with this and we'll go to a break because I still have more to say on Garoppolo. Where were all the critics when Michigan was busy getting beat to a bloody pulp in the Orange Bowl against Georgia?
And the funny thing about that, I was hearing so many people say, well, this is reason why Cincinnati should not play. Man, it should have been Ohio State that went up against Alabama or Oklahoma State or Notre Dame. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why is it because a name has to be there that you feel better with the butt stomping that really Cincinnati didn't receive? They just received a beating to the point of they proved that they could match up, but they just simply didn't have enough to match up.
They didn't have enough horses, and that's all.
They didn't have enough horses. Now with Georgia and Michigan, that was a butt whooping.
It was. I mean, Cincinnati just didn't have enough horses to match up with Bama, okay? But Cincinnati
Right.
definitely earned their spots. So for those of you
Because they
saying
had the
otherwise,
nerve. Yes, they had the nerve. They
So-
had the gumption. They had the fight. That's all you can ask from any team.
and you know what I'm hoping? They run the table next year, and
That'd be cool.
give
That'd be cool if they do.
give the committee and dare the committee to give them a reason not to include them. I hope they run the table next year and blow everybody out in the process to prove that they belong, because
They belong.
next year's a prove it year, because they're moving to the Big 12. So next
Right.
year, next year's going to be a prove it year. I want to see Cincinnati run the table in the regular season, beat all the Big 12 opponents, including Oklahoma, including Texas, and I want them to be in Texas for the Big 12 championship because it's at AT&T Stadium. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen. Coming up next,
do
for
too.
those of you that doubted Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers, yes, I'm spending a lot of time on it. Take that and take it with every grain of salt I'm going to throw at you, because I have a lot. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
Everyone knows what kindergarten is, but have you heard of